What it is, what it is. What's up, YouTube? I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down in the description box below. So I went to the grocery store the other day and eggs were up to $14. The cheaper ones that were in like the $4.50 range were all gone. And all they had was the expensive, fancy, free range, no anything brown eggs for like $14. And I was like, you guys are crazy. I'm not paying that. Now I am in a good place where I usually get most of my eggs from my brother or my neighbor who all have chickens. So it was a bit of a sticker shock. I needed one egg for a recipe and I ended up walking away. So this led me to, the other insane prices, because I bought maybe like 5 or 6 items from the grocery store and they were all like things that I don't normally buy, like sour cream cottage cheese, like monk fruit sweetener, just random things. It was like $35 and I was like, oh my God, this must be what everybody's talking about when it comes to the grocery store. But these are very, very rare instances that this happens to me. As you all know, I live on about $120 a month on food. So I'm going to go over 32 extreme tips to save money on food. First and foremost, this is the absolute most important, is number one, is to become a zero waste household. Now, I don't know if you know this, but every single individual in the United States wastes over a half pound of food every day. It's actually 0.6 of 1 pound. So it's more than a half a pound of food every single day. That adds up to 219 pounds of waste every single year. Now, people complain that grocery prices are so high, but they could literally save 40% off of your groceries if you just utilize and eat everything that you purchase. I'm not into menu planning or anything like that, but it's just a matter of not wasting anything. Now, as you all know, I've been a zero waste household for I don't know how long. And to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I threw anything away. The only things that I have to put in my compost is coffee grounds and eggshells. And sometimes the very, very end of carrots where like the stem thing is, and it tastes kind of weird. So that's it. So don't throw anything away. How do you not throw anything away? We'll get into that. Number two, if you can't use something in time, like it's gonna go bad, don't just push it to the back of your fridge, freeze it. So I do this with onions and extra carrots, celery, and potatoes, and then I just put it into a Ziploc bag, I freeze it, and then when I'm gonna go and make a soup or a stew, I will add that into the soup or the stew, bulks it up, and it's absolutely free. And potatoes. Did I say potatoes? Yes. So put those in soups later. Number three, cheap vegetables are your best friend. That is carrots, onions, and potatoes. Those are always the cheapest vegetables that there are. And I always recommend that you incorporate them whenever you can. Number four, when making something like rice-a-roni, that's just an example. Rice-a-roni, macaroni and cheese, which they taste funny now, but that's another story. Add extra noodles. People get angry when I say noodles instead of pasta. Whatever. They're called macaroni noodles, so I don't know what else you want me to call them. So when you're making macaroni and cheese, usually it is a 3 or 3.5 servings per container. Well, you can stretch that out to add an additional serving, and it doesn't really take much away from the flavor. Maybe it takes away a little bit, but I'm kind of used. It's kind of like watering down your shampoo and your mouthwash, like watering stuff down in the bathroom. It's kind of like the same type of thing. Is you kind of water it down. You just add more noodles to your rice-a-roni mac and cheese and it'll get you an extra serving. It doesn't seem like much, but it is a lot cheaper. It's probably going to save you 25% on that rice-a-roni just by adding some extra noodles because you get an extra serving. So if it's 3 servings, turns into 4, that makes it 25%. I think. Okay. Number 5, ask yourself if you can add rice. Can you add rice to whatever it is you're making? Can you add it to your soups? Even canned soups, you can add rice that maybe you've got in the refrigerator. It makes the soups and stews more filling. Also, if you run out of ice cream, like for dessert, one thing my grandma used to do is she would take some rice that she had in the refrigerator, add some milk, butter, cinnamon, and sugar, and warm it up, but don't make it hot. Make it like warm. Delicious. And tastes kind of like an ice cream. So that's just a little extra tip. So if you can add rice, add rice. It bulks it up, makes you feel fuller. Number 6, make your own dog food. It's not hard. It's not hard. A little bit of meat, carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, beans. Dogs can eat a lot of human food, and it will make them live longer too. Rocky recently had a surgery. Rocky is 9 years old. He's a boxer, and boxers usually only live to be 9, actually 8. 8 years old is average. Rocky is 9. And the vet said she was astounded at how healthy he was. So he gets the mental stimulation, he gets the walks, and he gets the homemade food 90 to 95% of the time. Occasionally, I will buy dog food if I'm feeling extra lazy, but it's definitely not like a lot, very infrequently. And it's really easy to do. Just crock pot's all you need is what I'm saying. Number 7 is, of course, make your own coffee, espressos, cold brews, and lattes. You can do this with a simple Mr. Coffee. There's other brands out there too. They cost about $50. And for what you're paying at Starbucks, I think it's like $8 per Starbucks. You're gonna make it up within 7 visits. To me, that 7 visits is 1 week if you drink coffee every day, and 1 week's worth of making your own pays for itself. Anything after that, you're getting huge savings. I have perfected the art using cheap coffee like U-Ban and Folgers. It is way better than Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. All of my friends say so. I have made the coffee on this channel 1,000 times, but there's also recipes all over the place online. I highly recommend doing that. Number 8, use the end pieces of your bread that nobody ever wants to eat. I always skipped those end pieces when I was a kid, of course. Make them into croutons for your next salad. Don't pay for croutons. So you just cut it up, put it in a bowl, add a little bit of oil, do the little thing with your hands so that the oil, you make sure it gets all over there, add some spices. You can do Italian seasoning, you can do just salt and pepper. Some people like garlic powder in there. I like garlic powder in there. And you basically just put it on a cookie sheet in the oven at, 275 for 20 minutes. It browns them up real nice, gives them that nice crunchy crouton consistency. Try saying that fast 5 times, and you've got yourself free croutons. I can't believe that croutons are like $4 a bag at the grocery store now, maybe $5 a bag. I'm trying to think, I don't know if it was $4.89 or $5.68, but they're expensive, and it's just end bread pieces. It's crazy. Okay. Number 9. Of course, buy on sale whenever possible. Learn how to cut your meats in a way that makes the plate look fuller, but uses less meat. So I've done this on my channel as well, you cut the meat like this, okay? And then you sort of go like this, like you sort of flush it out. And it literally will take a piece of meat like this, and if you present it correctly, it doubles its size, so it looks like it's this big. A lot of people eat with their eyes. So if this is something like your husband is like, he eats a pound of meat a day, get him a half pound and then cut it properly and spread it out. It makes it look like more meat, and they feel satisfied because they clean their plate. Another thing that you can do with meat, and this has been proven with science and surveys and tests and stuff like that, is do that same thing, but put the meat for your entire family on a platter, and then people will pick each piece of meat and put it on their plate. But it's been scientifically proven that they only eat about half as much meat if it's put on a platter in the center of the table, because it's the psychology of sharing. Like, they don't want to look like a pig by eating too much, and they want to make sure that everybody else at the table has had the appropriate serving. It's a subconscious act of selflessness. So tons of surveys have been done on that. I highly recommend it. Number 10, if you can get them at a thrift store, switch out your 12-inch dinner plates with 9-inch dinner plates. In the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, dinner plates were always 9 inches. The 12 inches that most people have now did not come out until like the late 70s, early 80s. And again, people eat with their eyes. So it makes the plate bigger, so you feel like you have to fill your plate and eat it all. Otherwise, you're wasting food. So switch back to the 9 inches. I've done that. I've probably done it for at least 5 or 10 years. And I won't go back. It's especially super helpful if you have teenagers. So it helps them, if they are eating with their eyes, it helps them to eat less. Number 11. So here is a little hint or a tip. So since egg prices are so high, just so you know, for baking, only for baking, applesauce is a substitute for eggs. So if you're making a cake and it requires 3 eggs and you only have 2, substitute one of the eggs for applesauce. It won't change the flavor and it accomplishes the same thing. You can go ahead and Google that, go for it. To extend your eggs, I highly recommend turning them into deviled eggs. There's always that extra yellow yolk, the hardened yellow yolk. I think that's what it's called. And you can take that extra and you know how you add mayonnaise and onion and salt and pepper and celery, whatever it is that you're adding to make your deviled eggs. Just take that extra stuff and put it between whatever bread you've got on hand or buns or Hawaiian rolls, and make it into an egg salad sandwich. So if you have, usually it's with 3 eggs, you can make an egg salad sandwich and 3 deviled eggs. Sometimes it's 4, depending on the size of the egg. But it's an extra meal. You can make it into an extra meal. Number 13, food saving is not the only thing. You also have to look into how to save money on the electricity or gas that you're using to cook your food. So I highly recommend cooking in batches to save on electricity or gas. It also saves you time, and time is money. I am one of those people that will happily eat something 4 days in a row, but I know that doesn't work for everyone. So you can cook yourself one meal and then freeze the other 3, and then the next day cook your meal, freeze the other 3. Next day cook your meal, freeze the other 3, and within 10 days you now have 30 days worth of food in your freezer. Just from cooking that way. And then you don't have to recook it. You could just heat it up in the microwave. Number 14. I don't know if I'm the only person that learned this a year ago, but add noodles to your soup. Yeah, go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and laugh. The type of soup doesn't matter, but I seriously did not know that this was a thing until like a year ago when I just decided to give it a try. Yeah, turns out it was one of the top 2 soups that I have ever made. I didn't know that. I would be cooking a chicken and then I would take the carcass, put it in a crock pot to make stock, and then I would add the onions, potatoes, and carrots to make it into a soup. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't have any rice, but I have these noodles. I'm going to add that in. Yeah, funny thing, it turns into chicken noodle soup when you do that. I didn't know that. Or I guess I just never thought of it because we never had that growing up. Okay, number 15, keep those ham hocks. Ham goes on sale certain times of year and it's usually 89 cents per pound or less. I believe it's during Christmas time. It might be around it's always between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I didn't know this. Again, this was a complete Frugal successful testing scientific test. I put the ham hock in a crock pot with potatoes and milk, and it is the best soup that I have ever had. I cannot believe I didn't know about it. It was absolutely delicious. It's just potato soup with ham hock. It's amazing. Recipes online. Number 16, don't buy a ton of stuff just because you have a coupon. Coupons are almost always for the brand name products, and many times you can get the non-brand item for cheaper than the brand item with the coupon. So don't let coupons trick you. And another thing is that my grandma used to do, she would do anything for a coupon. I never understood it. The BOGOs, buy one, get one free, or buy 2, get 1 free. She would need a pair of slippers and she would buy 3 just so she would buy 2 and get 1 free, get the third free, just so she could get those free slippers. But now she has 3 pairs of slippers. She's 94 years old and she doesn't need 3 pairs of slippers. Now, yeah. So don't do that. Don't buy more than you need or more than you can use in a reasonable amount of time. Number 17. Stop buying food just so you can make something for someone else. With the prices of food right now, this is no longer an option for many people, and don't feel bad about it either. So you're like, hey, Carol up the street has been really nice to me. I want to bake her some cookies, but I'm out of brown sugar and chocolate chips and flour. So now you're spending $10, $15 on ingredients to make cookies just because you felt like making cookies for somebody. Don't do that. And as a bonus, this is just like a bonus, don't feel obligated to be part of company potlucks or company birthdays where they ask for a donation. Just say no. I stopped doing these years ago when I was working in an office. They'd be like, today is so-and-so's birthday. Do you want to make a donation? No, I've never met her, but she's on your team. Yeah, and she works from home. I've never met the girl. Why would I want to give you money to give her a birthday gift? I've never met I don't know who she is. No. And then I just stopped doing it. Number 18, stop buying pre-made stuff. Those cookies with the bright pink frosting for $5. No more of that. No more quick stuff like granola bars, fruit snacks, pre-cut carrots, or little packages of stuff. It all adds up. By the way, I used to love chocolate chip granola bars, Quaker Chewy. Yeah, they were delicious. They're 50 cents a bar now, and those bars are like this big now. No, I'm not gonna pay for it. Learn how to make your own granola bars. I will do that. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try and learn how to make my own granola bars. So no more pre-made stuff. There's a 400% markup on pre-cut vegetables. Buy them whole, cut them yourself. Time to not be lazy. Number 19, switch out cereal with oatmeal and add sugar or cinnamon. It is way cheaper, healthier, and keeps you full longer. Oatmeal has fiber, cereal does not. Cereal is crazy now, like $8 a box. Are you nuts? No, it's not worth it. Not to me. I'll pay the $4 for a month's worth of oatmeal, literally 30 servings, as opposed to your like 8 servings for $8. I don't think so. No, thank you. Oh, that brings me to number 20. Start reading and applying serving sizes. If something is 1/3 cup per serving, stop eating 3 cups of it. Stop it. Yeah, I stopped doing that years ago. Except for salad. Salad is like, they do that thing where it's like 3.5 servings. Yeah, it's just 2 servings for me for the Caesar salad. And another thing with the Caesar Supreme bagged salads, the Caesar Supreme bagged salads used to have chicken in it. They got rid of the chicken. So now it's not even Supreme anymore. So now I just get, but the thing is that the Supreme is the same price as the regular. So with the Supreme, the only benefit I get is croutons, which I make myself, but it's the same price as the one without croutons. So why not just I'll take the extra croutons, I guess. Anyway, number 21, start eating until satisfied, not eating until full. A friend of mine that went on a diet tried this. He was happy that he was still able to eat all of his favorite foods. He just didn't overstuff himself on it. This is also something that people do in Asian countries. I think they eat until they're 80% full or something. It's a thing in their culture, which you can also Google, but it keeps them in shape. And Asian people are known for having great figures and looking young until they're like 90. I'm exaggerating on the 90, but you know what I'm saying. Number 22, if you are lucky enough to find a fruit on sale, stock up. Make applesauce, apple cider, orange juice, lemonade, or whatever you fancy, and freeze it for later. Oranges usually grow in the winter, and we all love an ice cold cup of orange juice in the summer. Or you can do what I do and dehydrate. I eat fresh, I freeze, and I dehydrate. Number 23, if you drink soda, which almost everyone does, either stop drinking it or buy the off-brand. I could not believe the difference in price of soda. It's like 50 to 75% less to get the off-brand stuff. I can't personally taste the difference, but I hear a lot of people say that they can. I can't taste the difference. That's just me. Number 24. Find ways to use stuff up before it goes bad, things that you normally wouldn't do. For instance, once my cousin had a bunch of apples that were about to go bad and didn't know what to do with them. I asked if he had any pie crust, and he said yes. We wrapped the pie crust around the apples, baked them and added sugar and cinnamon, and we made mini apple pies. I also took some old tortillas that were going bad. I fried them, sprinkled sugar and cinnamon on them, and they made sort of like a potato chip churro type thing. Not as good as a real churro, but still delicious. Number 25. Finding different ways to cook your food. So it's not always about the food, but different ways to cook it. So for instance, I love cooking my food out on my bonfire. I now have a barbecue, which I took from my rental property that was mine before. But now I have a barbecue and a bonfire, and I love to cook on wood. Wood is totally free where I live. It is abundant everywhere. You trip over it. I have a ton of wood on hand on the side of my shed. And it really gives the food a great smoky flavor that everybody loves the smoky flavor on a steak, And I don't know, I can't really tell the difference in taste from charcoal and wood. Maybe it's because it's the type of wood that I'm using, but it tastes the same to me. Could also, yeah, okay. Anyway, so try that. So try cooking on wood if you can. It's actually kind of fun too. And then it serves a dual purpose. So if it's a nice, cool winter or fall night, you're not only cooking your dinner, but you're like keeping warm, and it's really nice. Okay. Number 26, learn to substitute before you buy another one. For instance, when I run out of dressing, I will make my own Thousand Island dressing using ketchup and mayonnaise. Some people do this also as a fry sauce. I guess fry sauce is something like on the East Coast. We don't have fry sauce here on the West Coast, but yeah, ketchup and mayonnaise makes Thousand Island dressing or fry sauce. Also, if you are out of barbecue sauce, ketchup and soy sauce makes barbecue sauce. Boom. Number 27. If you're low on money, you can substitute butter with margarine or lard if you have to. I personally I've never had butter until my 30s. I never tasted it before because we were poor and we always only had margarine. Now I do prefer butter, but if I have to tighten my belt, instead of paying $4.68 for butter and margarine is 98 cents, I will do that. There's a lot of people who, no matter what I say, people are going to be in the comments section talking about margarine is only one chemical away from being plastic and it's going to kill you and give you cancer and heart disease. And these are the same people that glug, 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 glug vegetable oil into their cooking pot while they're cooking. So for those of you who are high and mighty and talk about how you... Look, some people don't have the extra $4 to spend on butter, okay? Some people are not in as good a position as you. And choices have to be made. And you're in a really good place if you can, you're in a really good place financially if you can feel that it's your right to tell other people how to eat based on choices. But you know what isn't healthy? Starving to death. That's not healthy. I would say that not eating when you're hungry is a lot less healthy than eating margarine. So if anybody in the comment, I'm going to go a step further. If anyone here, because this really bothers me, when people say, I take my health seriously as they're eating a Big Mac. Come on. Nobody is perfect. Nobody here eats nothing but celery and water. Like people, and I'm sure that the butter people are going to be drinking a beer or a soda as they're saying, I only eat food to fuel my cells, as they're drinking a Bud Light. Come on, be nice. There are poor people here. Okay. Number 28, you can make your own soft spread butter by taking a stick of butter or margarine and adding a little bit of vegetable oil or olive oil or grapeseed oil or canola oil or whatever. And using a beater. You can use the electronic beater like you do mashed potatoes. I have a hand crank beater that I prefer when I'm making my butter until it mixes really, really well, and then it slightly cools so it becomes a little bit harder to churn. Then you just put it in the fridge, and that is your spreadable butter. You can, I would say to anybody, if you're in the spreadable butter aisle of your grocery store, pick up one of the containers. I don't care if it's Country Crock or Imperial or whatever. Read the ingredients, and it literally says like margarine and oil or butter and oil. That's how they make it. That's how they make it. So just make your own. It's about half the price when you make your own. Number 29, save your grease, and you can reuse it in cooking. Please note, though, I do not recommend bacon. Everybody loves bacon grease. I have never really been a bacon fan. It's just, very rarely, very rare. But it keeps getting proven how, like, it's escalating about how bad bacon is for you. Like, I guess that processed meats like bacon, sausage, and stuff like that is like scientifically the worst possible food that you can eat on earth. So I don't recommend it, but if you need it, you need it. So, and if you're gonna eat the bacon anyway, whether it's healthy or not, at least save the grease and use the grease. It's flavorful. It's good for making pancakes too. It makes the pancakes have a unique flavor. Number 30, instead of buying individual potato chips, ow, man, there is something wrong with my arm. Right here. Did I hit it or something? No, I mean, it really hurts. I can't make my arm straight. Okay, let's not think about the elbow. Okay. So instead of buy a giant bag and then put individual servings into Ziploc bags. So we all know, ask me how I know, don't ask me how I know, that if we have a big old bag of potato chips and we sit in front of the TV, 1/2 to 3/4 of the giant bag is gone while you're sitting in front of the TV, and then you look down and there's all these potato chips pieces on your chest, and you're like, and then the bag is like almost gone, and you're like, how did that happen? I don't remember eating those. And then you get the poops the next day. There's a warning for anal leakage on bags of certain potato chips. I'm just saying. Anyway, so put them into Ziploc bags. Usually the big giant bags of store brand potato chips will get you 10 to 14 individual sized bags, and then bring the Ziploc bags home and reuse them or wash them. Totally up to you. But this is another one of those tricks for teenagers. And it's really good in, like, if you put it in their school lunch. Number 31, make your own Mrs. Dash. Did you know that you can dehydrate extra spices like garlic, onion, leek, and even lemon peels to make your own Mrs. Dash? I've done it. Turns out pretty good. Although I know Mrs. Dash is like a salt-free thing, but when I make it myself, it needs salt. like the Mrs. Dash would be perfect if it had salt. But I know it's like a no salt. Anyway, number 32. Last one, regrow your lettuce. So you can put it in a bowl of water by the window and it will grow again. I've done this a million times. Not as big and not as much as the original, like, romaine lettuce, but it does grow enough again to make yourself a personal sized salad. So that's something super fun. Oh, and here is a couple extra tips from a subscriber. If you are making soups that might use a ham hock, if you don't have the ham hock available, try substituting with a little bit of liquid smoke. I've never tried this. I first did this with split pea soup using a crock pot and a hand blender to make it smooth. There you go. So if you don't have a ham hock, but you have liquid smoke, there you go. And then they also said when they make the Thousand Island dressing, they add a little bit of sweet relish, a dash of Worcestershire sauce. I've never been able to say that correctly. Worcestershire sauce. That's not right. Worcester sauce. Whatever. I don't know. And sometimes other spices. I have combined yellow mustard, honey, and mayo for honey mustard dressing. Ooh, that's a good one. Yellow mustard, honey, and mayo. I have all of those. Okay, cool. I'm exploring just mustard and honey for sauces like dipping in barbecue. Those are really good. The honey mustard sauce, yes, absolutely. The dried beans in your pantry can be planted and will grow. I'm gonna have to plant some soybeans then. All right. I do make, this is another extreme thing. These are not on the list of the 32, so I guess I'm gonna make a few more, is that I take soybeans, non-GMO soybeans that I buy for $18 on Amazon. It's a big giant bag and it lasts me about 2 years. I'm able to make my own soy milk using a Soya Bella soy milk maker. And then I take the Okara and that goes into the dog food. The dogs absolutely love Okara. I swear it's like a cookie for them. It's like a dessert. You can also take the soy milk that you make from the Soya Bella, and if you add a coagulant, it turns into tofu. Tofu is not my favorite thing to eat, but if something bad were to happen and I could not afford meat, yes, that would absolutely be the way to go. Also, oatmeal. This is another little tip, number 34. Oatmeal, if you don't have any flour on hand, but you do have oatmeal, you can put it in a blender or a coffee grinder and you can blend it into flour and you have oat flour, which works just like white flour, except it tastes a little oaty. But you can make your own oat breads and yeah, there you go. You can also make your own oat milk and then take the pulp from the oat milk and you can eat that. You can add it to a muffin mix and make your muffins more fiber dense, more calories, and it just makes them bigger and better for you. Or you could, if you have dogs, they can also eat the oatmeal pulp. So more to put on your dog food list. All right, folks, I hope this video has been helpful. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.
Sands run out, Pollux, and I'm still standing. You lose. And I played by the rules. Jason, look out! Pollux, no! Wanna hear something funny? I used to think because we had the same father, we should